Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Welcome to Market Hub's second episode. This is the second episode we're doing today. Market Hub is basically, we are a digital marketing agency in Melbourne. We started working on this podcast because we want to focus on compassionate marketing. And we saw that there was a lack of content out there that was focused on helping business owners and actually delivering content or basically marketing tips that were useful to them, that made sense, that weren't, inundated with language that didn't really make sense to them. So we are sort of on the mission to simplify marketing for business owners, and focus on compassionate marketing, which is, basically value added organic marketing instead of performance marketing, which is, a good thing on its own, but we want to focus on creating content that is useful. So, welcome to Market Hub Podcast.
Thank you,
Today
Tina.
we
Thanks for
are
having
with,
me.
awesome. Today we are with Nathan here. A little bit about Nathan. Nathan is the founder of MODC. It's a groundbreaking company that aims to tackle the issue of sustainability in business cards. So they are tackling this issue one business card at a time, and focusing on modern, eco-friendly approach to business cards. He is also the founder of Wave CRM, demonstrating his versatility and commitment to enhancing business processes. He has a whooping 11,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I would love to know how he did that. So today we'll explore his journey in the business world and his success on LinkedIn as well. How are you
Great.
feeling, Nathan?
Oh, I'm feeling very well. Thank you, Tina. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. As I told you before, I've had a crazy morning, but that's part of life.
That's it. That's the life of a business owner.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today. I have seen what a great brand you have online. Your LinkedIn
Thanks.
looks impressive.
Thank you.
So today we wanted to talk to you about how you've used social media to attract new clients to your various businesses, but also how you've created a community around different businesses using
Mm.
the tools that you have online.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, well, I suppose certainly certainly the way that I've built it has been very much focused around LinkedIn first. That's been the most successful social media channel for myself and my businesses by extension. And I believe a big part of that is because what we offer is typically what would be referred to as B2B solutions, and I figured out through a bit of learning and a bit of failing, that if you want to be in the B2B market, then LinkedIn should be where you want to focus a lot of your attention. It may not be where you focus all of your attention, but it should definitely be one of the primary factors for you. And that's what we've done, and it's worked. It's worked quite well, both from a personal sense as to building my brand, but then also through the businesses as well.
Amazing. Do you want to take a step back and also tell me, because I don't know the story,
Sure.
how you've come up with the different businesses that you currently have and sort of what it looked like in your life's timeline? So, what was the first thing that came? What was the second thing that
Sure.
came? And
Yes.
how you learned things about social media on the way?
Yeah. Yeah. So how I came to be in the world of technology was because of COVID, actually. So my experience before that was in commercial cleaning and facilities management. I'd never had any experience around building, designing, or running any sort of technology ever. And during COVID, so middle of 2020, just a little over 4 years ago now. At the time, I was the president of a chamber of commerce here in Brisbane, and our members and a lot of businesses in Brisbane presented a common challenge, which was around digital contact tracing.
Hmm.
Um, To cut a bit of a long story short, we ended up building a digital contact tracing solution and backed it as a Chamber of Commerce so that we could give it away to market for free and help all of those businesses that had this challenge. So that was 1st of August 2020. We officially launched that. To our delighted surprise, it took off like a bit of a rocket ship, quickly expanded across Australia. We had thousands of businesses using it in every state and territory. We ended up clocking up millions of check-ins, and that was really the start point as to my technology journey. Even though at the time I didn't realize it. Even during that 2020, I was never thinking, "Oh, great! Now I'm a tech entrepreneur and this is what I'm doing now." For me, I was still like, well, I'm helping all of these people and these businesses, and when the world goes back to normal, then I'll go back to my commercial cleaning and facilities management and keep doing that.
Okay.
But the technology evolved, and so we ended up going into digital event ticketing and then digital event marketing, digital event management as well. And then that evolved in through some opportunities. That's how we got involved with digital business cards. Was we saw the need and the appetite, and we wanted to become the local solution or the Australian solution to fill that need and look after all of those people. And then most recently with Wave, which we launched a bit over a year ago now. That actually went back to my roots within the Chamber of Commerce. Was during my time as president and on committee of other chambers, I understood that the technology around member-based organisations is quite defunct. It's not fit for purpose. A lot of organisations have issues with it. So we built Wave to solve that problem.
Amazing.
So that's my journey into technology and business. As to my journey through social media, it's quite interlinked with that. So it actually, I really started to get into, in particular, LinkedIn and social media as to building my own brand, but also building businesses and community groups around myself during my time as a part of the Chamber of Commerce. So that was specifically the Brisbane Junior Chamber of Commerce. So I joined that chamber not long after I started my first business. So this would have been probably about 10 years ago now. And I was looking to network, meet other people in business, help. I think a challenge that a lot of business owners go through is you become isolated very quickly. So for me, a Chamber of Commerce was a good way to just get out of the house, get out of my own business, go meet people, go talk to people, go socialize. And so not long after I joined that chamber, I was then recruited onto the committee, became vice president and president. And that was where I really started to experience that social media growth. Was for me, I saw a clear way to help grow the chamber as a brand, as an organisation, was to push into social media more. And we played around with some stuff in Facebook as it was known then, but obviously Meta, because it now spreads across Instagram. But LinkedIn was a fantastic sandbox to play in, I suppose, for that organisation, and that was certainly what fed into my personal brand quite extensively.
Right. Awesome. Sounds like you were solving problems on the way, and you just organically created businesses as well as your brand online.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I would say definitely from a personal brand point of view, I was never thinking about it. I never had a strategy or had a thought of, okay, well, I'm going to build my own personal brand through this. I saw myself as an extension of the brand I represented, which was the Chamber of Commerce. And I went, well, if I can help grow this through myself and it makes that organization better, then for me, it felt like, why not do that? Why not put my effort there? And now when I look back on it over many years, then I was personal brand building. I just didn't realize it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were just naturally attracting
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
LinkedIn happened to be a platform that
Yes.
where everything was coming together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have accumulated um, what not followers, but links
Yes.
over the last few years
Yes.
on LinkedIn. Is
Yeah.
that how you have grown to 11,000 followers now?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I would have. I couldn't tell you when I would have set up my LinkedIn profile. Probably maybe 12, 15 years ago now. It might have been. And so that's been probably for the first few years, I probably never really thought about LinkedIn much and probably didn't use it a great deal. When I started my first business, I understood that there was more value to it, but again, I never really sat down and built a strategy or thought to myself, how should I make this better and more powerful and more valuable to myself? And then it would have been a few years into having my own business, being a part of the Chamber of Commerce, that then I started to realize, oh, there's actually opportunity here. There is that path to growth. I certainly feel that the chamber, having been, because by then I was president of that Chamber of Commerce, was being the president of that brand and that driving force, it gave me something to focus my LinkedIn presence towards. Um, so much so that many people were often surprised to learn that. So during my time as president of that Chamber of Commerce and being a part of it, that I was volunteer. People actually assumed that I was paid to be a part of that Chamber of Commerce
Yeah.
because of how much my brand was tied in, or like how symbiotic those two felt
Yeah.
together. Yeah, but for me, it only felt natural, and and I was proud to share as much as I could about the chamber, and I was proud to help grow that brand as much as I could as well. So,
Yeah.
so for me, it never felt awkward, it never felt forced, it never felt like a chore to have to do it. So, I was always happy to do it, and then yeah, but as I did it more and more, then the perspective you gain with it, then you start to realize, well, yeah, this is a brand that you're building. This is a presence that you're building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've been fortunate enough that it's then opened opportunities and possibilities for me because of that as well. And that's yeah, in some part how I've amassed 12,000, however many
Yeah.
thousands of connections that I have. So yeah, it's been great.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. So, do you have a strategy behind how your LinkedIn is currently growing? Is there anyone helping you with your profile?
Uh, So my strategy, the strategy as to how I grow my LinkedIn actively at the moment is posting frequently. So they say that even if you only do one post on LinkedIn, you're automatically in like the top 10% of LinkedIn users because
Mhm.
90% of LinkedIn users never post anything on LinkedIn ever. If you're wanting to be found, if you're wanting to draw people to you, if you're wanting to build that brand, then the first thing you can do is start posting. Um, uh, as to what my more deeper as to what my content strategy is, I don't say sit down and I deeply analyze it or plan it forward. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn myself. So given I consume a lot, I try and be aware of what I'm consuming and try and understand, okay, well, what is the types of content that people are connecting with? And I very much take that approach of, and I'm sure many will be familiar with this term of that building in public, which is often a popular strategy for business owners through social media. Is every step you're taking, you're showing that to all of those people around you. So I suppose if I was to term my strategy anything, that would be the closest thing of like building in public, and being proud of your achievements and embracing those failures and those challenges that come along the way. Um, as for those who help me, the two people that would help me the most with it would be my co-founders, so Sandy and Wayne. Um, how they help me is the three of us as co-founders in the business. We all have three very different perspectives. So Wayne is our CTO, so his mind is very analytically wired. So he's a technology builder.
Mhm.
So very analytical, um, very often very clear in his thoughts, because the way you build technology, you can't be ambiguous. You have to be very clear. It's a one or a zero in technology. So that's often how his perception of things comes across. Sandy is much more creative mind than I am. So he's a trained graphic designer, so he does all of our UX and UI, very operationally focused. So Sandy always has very strong insights, and um, Sandy, whenever we're talking about a scenario, and there's not specific to social media, but often when it is talking about social media, he will open my eyes to perspectives that I will often have blind spots to myself. So
Okay.
I would say those two are the best. They help me the most, and they've helped me the best with my social media strategies.
Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
So sounds like you have a great team
Hmm.
of co-founders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
co-founders, who are sort of helping you refine the way you talk about your industry,
Hmm.
and the thought process that you have behind it, which is what is displayed on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you, okay, so you don't have, I would, I don't know if you know this, but some people that are currently creating content on a regular basis on LinkedIn, they have a team of marketers behind them.
Sure.
One person is writing content, the other person is recording content, one is editing the content, the videos, the reels, whatever it is. So you're not doing any of that. Yours is more organic than that.
Very organic. Yes.
Yeah. Have you found that your brand on LinkedIn is now attracting clients, or is it mainly for just making links and then you organically just make connections from that?
Uh, it would be both. It certainly does bring a lot of clients.
Mm-hmm.
So for both MODC and Wave, I can say time and again, and also historically, going back to my time in Chambers and other businesses I've been in and around, um, LinkedIn has always created business for me through direct clients. It's also opened more opportunities, and more, I suppose, more business paths to follow along that journey as well. So those, what can sometimes feel like a random link or a connection to someone, after weeks, months, even years later, you then reconnect with that person, and there's an opportunity that comes out of that, or that person will come to you and say, "Hey, we connected many years ago. I followed all of this great stuff you've done.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an idea for you, or I need your assistance, or I'm hoping I can connect you with someone of great value for you."
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been both aspects of that, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So attracting people from, well, people are just attracted to your profile, and then
Yes,
referrals are also playing a part in it.
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Do you know the percentage of customers that are coming from social media, like approximately?
Yeah, so using Wave as
For mod,
yeah,
yeah, for
yeah,
both. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So thinking about Wave, as our most recent business, so almost all of our clients have come through social media and specifically LinkedIn.
Okay.
I play really hard into the world of LinkedIn around
Mm-hmm.
Wave. As to Mod C, I would say I would say probably easily at least a third of our business comes through LinkedIn. So
Amazing.
we see a fair bit of UGC that goes through LinkedIn from a lot
Mm-hmm.
of thankfully from a lot of our card holders who love our product and love to show it off. And it's also LinkedIn's obviously a very powerful tool for cutting through to those key decision makers that you want to talk to.
Definitely. Okay. So for Wave CRM, it's pretty much 100% coming from social media.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Almost. Yeah.
And for,
It'd be over 90%. Absolutely.
wow, amazing. That's really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
And for Mod DC?
Yep,
Mod
yep.
C?
Mod C.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Mod C or
MODC. Mod
MODC. It
C?
doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
okay.
yep.
For MODC, it's a third coming from social media and
Yes,
some
yes.
from the referrals that you get from
Correct.
UGC or word of
Yep,
mouth.
yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or it'd be those that would find us, yeah, through Google or that sort of stuff. But yeah, directly through social media, and
Okay.
primarily LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be at least a third.
Amazing. So for MODC, have you invested in SEO or performance marketing at all?
No SEO. We have trialed a little bit of performance marketing. That was specific through Meta. Unfortunately, it wasn't as successful as we would have hoped it to be. So our shift is leaning towards doing some potential performance marketing through LinkedIn itself. Given that it's been a strong playground for us so far, we think
For
leaning
sure.
into that is likely to bring us some more results.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like yeah, that brand seems really successful on LinkedIn. So
Yes.
yeah, it would be an obvious choice for
Yeah,
performance marketing.
that's what we hope.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let me know if how you go with that actually. I'll be
Sure.
interested to
Absolutely.
know what the result is in the future.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Well, thanks for that. I also wanted to understand what your thoughts are on influencer marketing. So, have you ever used influencer marketing for either of those businesses?
No, we haven't. It's interesting you asked that question. So we're just looking at some potential influencer marketing for MODC, which would
Mm-hmm.
actually be focused on LinkedIn influencer
Ah,
marketing. So that's an avenue that we're currently exploring.
hmm.
Quite fascinating, quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's not a thoroughly mature market, so
No.
it's going to be a bit of a, if we do it, it's going to be a bit of a kind of throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks and what works and what doesn't work. So that's a bit exciting because it's a bit of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's obviously the risk is you potentially just burn a pile of cash and get nothing out of it, and then go, okay, let's not do that again. So
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
think
so we'll
that's a
see.
fascinating idea.
Yeah, yeah.
That is not being done on LinkedIn at all right now.
Yeah, only in very small part. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a couple of individuals and there's a couple of agencies, I suppose is the best way to frame them, that are starting to play in that world,
I
but
see.
it's very early days. So the case studies can feel a little limited in some ways. So I
Mm,
think um, yeah, it'll take a bit of faith from both sides,
yeah.
from an agency side and also from a client side, to have a bit of a play with it and see potentially what results could come of it.
Yeah. No, I think it makes perfect sense since things like this influencer marketing has worked
Mm.
really well on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
But if you wanted to translate that into the business world, I think people copy each other a lot.
sure, sure, sure. Right.
In the business world, even,
Yeah, yeah.
watches and cars and things like that. So
Course,
it
course,
makes
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, even if
Influencers aren't just teenage girls, right? It's
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
can
Doing
be,
beauty blogs, it can be any product and any service and any solution.
exactly, very, very fascinating. And it's also, it may not translate directly into sales,
Mm,
but it will definitely influencer marketing.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well, thanks for answering that. That was really fascinating.
that's okay.
Awesome. So I will also wanted to get your thoughts on sustainability and eco-friendliness of as a trend in businesses at the moment, and if you
Yes,
think it is a trend, and if it's going to stick, if it's a long-term thing, or is it just a trend that's going to fall through in a few years'
sure,
time?
sure, sure. So I'm uh, this should be serve as no surprise. So with MODC um, being clearly about sustainability, so we believe that sustainability in business is not a trend. It was a trend, but it's now very much a part of the mainstream in business. And for those businesses that believe sustainability is just a trend, I unfortunately feel that they will be quickly left behind and forgotten about. And ultimately, they will be disadvantaged because governments, not just here in Australia, but globally, will um, punish or de-incentivize those businesses that don't treat sustainability seriously. So that's why I say it isn't a trend anymore. It's now the way it is going to be, and it's the way it's going to have to be as well. So for businesses that can sooner embrace sustainability, and I come across this quite often with what we offer with MODC. We often get businesses that express frustration as to how do they embrace sustainability. For some businesses, it can be as simple as implementing a recycling bin within their business. It seems for so many people that will listen to that, they'll go, well, that seems like an obvious thing. But for so many businesses, that will be literally their first step towards it. And it's, I think for a lot of businesses, it's understanding that those simple steps, and so many of our clients use our digital business cards as that first step of this is their step forward into sustainability. Those that take those little steps now are going to be so much better off into the future. So it is not a trend. It is a part of the mainstream, and it is going to be forever a part of business as well.
Yeah. And for the context of the people that are going to listen to this podcast, the idea behind MODC is so amazing that we spend so much money creating business cards, printing them. And also, I have worked with businesses where if they want to change something small in the design, then all the business cards that were printed out are thrown out.
Yep. Oh yes. Oh yes.
And you have to print like 70,000 new business cards for the whole team, and it's just a waste of paper. It's a waste of electricity for printing it, the water that goes into it.
Yes.
So MODC is definitely saving costs and being sustainable for the environment as well.
Yeah.
Would you say that's how you're impacting
Absolutely.
the world
Yeah,
at the moment? Yeah.
you've hit the nail on the head. And the biggest measure that we have, and it took quite a bit of time to uncover all of the elements to it, but we by the end of it, we understood that paper business cards are they're actually very heavy in water usage and water wastage, and so that's the primary measure that we have within MODC. Is we measure the positive water impact, so the amount of water that we help save, and to date we're just shy of 20 million litres of water that we've helped save, just through those that have started using our digital business cards.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so impressive.
We're quite proud of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's, and so that reinforces. That's why I say sustainability is not a trend for us. It's a key. It's our central pillar within our
Yeah.
business.
So what's the aim there? Where do you hope to take, that saving from 20 million to, let's say, 50 million in the next 5 years?
Oh, yeah, 20 million. We will go past 20 million before the end of this calendar year. The next big number is, yes, 50 million. I would, to be quite ambitious, I would like to see us hit 50 million litres of water saved before the end of 2025.
Wow, that's really close.
Yes, absolutely. And then 100 million, if we could, hit 100 million before the end of 2026, then I would be a
Yeah.
very happy person as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Those are definitely ambitious
I would like
numbers.
to see us double up each year over the next two
Yes.
years around those water savings.
I am definitely rooting for you guys.
Well, thank you.
I really hope you get there.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so I wanted to get your thoughts on, since you are in the tech business
Yes.
and you have a Wave CRM, so you know about workflows, you know about automation. For the business owners that are listening to this podcast, how have you invested in automation and AI to perhaps automate some of the things that you do on a daily basis for both of your
Mhm.
businesses?
Yeah. Uh, so the biggest benefit that we've gained from automation within our business has been around focusing that automation on any task that you need to do within your day to day, within your business, within your role or job within that business. Is think about any task you have to do more than once. Um, Whatever that task is, you should think about creating some sort of procedure, process, and by extension, an automation to help that step. Um, because if you're doing the same thing more than once, then immediately there's going to be the risk that you're going to spend too much time, too much effort, and too much resources doing that thing time and time and time again. And all of those are impactful savings to not only your time, but to your business's time as well, where you could then be diverting that time, energy, and resources into stuff that's more productive, more beneficial, and potentially of greater value within your
Yeah.
business. So for us, that's always been our biggest focus is um, focusing on those automations, those processes, those procedures around the day-to-day stuff. So thinking about MODC as a specific example. So one of the biggest steps for us when we're working with a client or a potential client is we help create the design of what the card will look like for the client.
Yeah.
Now, as you can imagine, once you start to think across dozens, hundreds, thousands of clients that we manage, design becomes a really big uh, cost and resource use within our organization. So for us, it was a driver as to, okay, well, let's automate this as much as possible. Let's strip out the stuff, or let's answer the questions once and for all, so they don't have to be answered every single time across these thousands of clients. So as a direct result, and just using the design aspect to MODC was, we did a measure after we'd done about 500 cards. We did a measure as to how long were we taking on a design process, just creating our piece of artwork. The average design process was sitting at about 22 minutes from a labour point of view. And then we went back and we went, okay, well, what are the steps as a part of the design around conceptualizing, grabbing logos, colors, so on and so forth. And without us changing any tools within our business at all, without us outlaying any more costs to buy fancy software or anything like that, simply by using the tools we had. And most of the tools we utilize are also free tools. So I'm talking like tools like Trello. So we use Trello, but we don't use a paid version. We use a free version. We use Slack. We use a free version, not a paid version. We use Google Drive, few other tools where we're literally not actually outlaying any money for those anyway. By simply building a better procedure and process, and then helping automate elements of it, we took that average design time from 22 minutes down to our most recent measure was just over 15 minutes.
Wow.
So that's a
Incredible.
third saving for each
Yeah.
card. And we're confident that we've learnt lessons along that path. So we're confident that we can now take that 15 minutes and probably turn it into maybe 12 minutes, which is then almost a further third saving of
Yeah.
that 15 minutes again, which again, and going back to where my ambitious goals go, if we're going to double up potentially more than double up our business in the next 12 months and then double up again over those next 12 months.
Exactly.
That 3 minutes per design that's monstrous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um, no,
So do
that's
you
okay. You're
have,
right.
yeah, just dying
Yeah.
a little.
I thought my
Um,
point was so impactful that you were left speechless, but it's obviously
exactly. I
just needed
did a
some
little
water.
cry and I needed some water. So do you have a team of graphic designers that are working on this?
Yes, we do.
Yes. I'm just curious to know how many.
So we have two.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
you are able to handle the workload
yes.
with the two graphic designers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
And
you
if we
did
didn't have automation, if we didn't have processes, we would
exactly,
have
yeah.
to have a much larger team as well.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
very true. So that's how basically automation and AI is helping you. You're
Yeah,
able
absolutely.
to have a smaller team but
Yep.
get more work done.
Bingo. Yeah.
Bingo. Amazing. Sounds amazing. Okay, so for the future, what does the future look like for both the brands? What sort of marketing strategies are you going to be investing in?
Yeah.
And if you are already investing in something that you are hoping to expand on
Sure.
in the next few
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. So with MODC, it will be continuing to play heavily into the world of LinkedIn.
Hmm.
As I touched on earlier, that potential of going down like a LinkedIn influencer path for MODC, that's likely to play into our future. Certainly for myself and Sandy and Wayne as co-founders, continuing to feed into that building in public strategy as business owners and founders ourselves will continue to build onto the brand that we've created with MODC. Our as a brand of MODC, continued marketing and whether that's organic or paid performance marketing, it will certainly focus on um, two clear aspects. One will be around the sustainability impacts it has, and then two will be around that effectively the cool factor. So thinking of it almost like probably not quite to the super highly polished, sophisticated, like luxury watch marketing, but along the lines of wanting to present MODC as a product of ambition, a product of people want to attain this, they want to reach for it, they want to have access to it, they want to be a part of that crowd, that audience that is embracing these things into the future.
Yeah.
Those will be the those two elements that we'll lean into heavily around MODC. As for when it comes to Wave, with what we've built with that technology, a big focus around that has been helping to simplify that technology for those member-based organisations that are often quite time poor, that are often, they will have a committee or a board or a staff that are not they're not technologically minded often. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that they hate smartphones and they just want to stick to pen and paper. It means that they're not technology builders, they're not developers, they're not coders. So they don't want to have to use technology that doesn't feel intuitive, that doesn't feel welcoming. We have to understand that with that technology, people's baseline of using technology is smartphones. If they can use a smartphone on a basic level, then that's really where we need to build our technology to. So it needs to be quite intuitive. It needs to be very user friendly, very user focused as well. It should never come across like it's a piece of tech that you need to have built or coded or done any sort of coding in the past to understand how it should work and understand how it should be operated. That's if we ever have technology like that, then we will lose customers hand over fist every day of the week.
For sure.
Yeah. So as to how do we lean into getting that message out, we believe our future focus around Wave will be accentuating and highlighting case studies for our potential clients. It will actually be helping to make our current clients the champions of our story. So helping pull them forward and highlighting, okay, this is where they were. These are the challenges that they had, and we were able to not pull them, we were able to help them evolve to over here.
Yeah.
And the thing that changed was a piece of technology.
Yeah.
It wasn't the people inside of it. It wasn't the environment around them. It was simply by stripping away bad technology and giving them the piece of technology that they actually always needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we see our future when it comes to each of those brands.
Perfect. Well, thank you for giving us a broader idea of both the brands and talking about how you've used a very community-based approach, a very organic approach to create the two businesses. I would love to get your last thoughts on if there are any other business ideas that you're going to be working on around sustainability in the near future.
Oh, yeah, we've got a few ideas in the pipes. Some are just very much light bulb moments, but probably the two biggest ones I'll share that we're probably most excited about, and one is specific to Wave CRM. And it actually it leverages a fair bit of what we've learned with MODC. Is what we're doing with Wave is, because our client base are member-based organisations, so think chambers of commerce, trade associations, community groups. Yeah. One thing that a lot of those organisations have lost over really the last 20 years is pretty much all of those organisations have lost the ability to provide their members a member card of some sort, and that was a very popular thing. Was when you became a member of any sort of organisation, you would be issued a member card or a membership card, and it would often have your name and a member number. It would have the organisation's logo on it, and it would sit pride of place within your wallet, and you wouldn't leave home without it. You'd be proud to show it off to everyone you knew. Yet, with advancements in technology and modern day, more and more organisations did away with member cards. And going on this journey with Wave, we've actually understood that so many of these member-based organisations want to go back to some sort of a member card, and have wanted to for a while. They just didn't know what that solution should be or could be. And so what we're actually doing is later this year, we're adapting what we've done with MODC and turning that into a member card for our Wave clients.
Wow, so merging the two business ideas together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it won't actually be a physical card that's being given to everyone. It will actually be a membership card that will sit in your Apple or Google Wallet on your smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the Apple Wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so that's a really cool piece of tech that we're going to be able to pull over to Wave clients, and we've already had a few that have put their hand up and said that they want to be the first ones in line to use it and roll it out and give it to their members, which is really exciting. Then on the other side of it, with MODC, our next big evolution will be around actively integrating our digital business cards into pre-existing CRM solutions within business. So we're thinking about integrating with HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, you name it. Like there's obviously so many CRM solutions out there. Yeah. And really the driver around that is because for many years, when paper business cards have existed, within so many organizations, they became this consumable item that sat separate to the rest of the business. So the business would sit over here and would have all of its data and technology, and then you have business cards that would this slither over here, and they were effectively, as you described, this throwaway item. A piece of detail would change over here, and they'd effectively go, okay, all of this in the bin, here's some new ones, and that's it. And the two never really actually integrated with each other. Now, with digital business cards, we've been able to move that closer to the business but there's still
Yes,
that missing bridge between
for
the digital business
sure.
card and what the business is. So that
Yes.
integration with CRMs will help us actually tie the two together.
Yeah.
Um, and what that means is the transfer of data can happen much more
Much easier.
seamlessly.
Mm.
Um, and we believe and we foresee that it will actually turn a digital business card into an actual asset for the company
Yeah.
rather than it
'Cause-
being a cost, rather than it being a
Yes.
liability we just have to spend money on. It can now actually become something that you can actively measure and go, okay, these digital business cards create us this amount of revenue,
Yes.
not
Because if you think about
these
it,
business cards cost us this amount of money.
yes. Because if
Yeah.
you think about it right now, I know with HubSpot, the application on your phone, you can scan the paper-based business cards,
Yep.
but you don't really have uh, a digital business card out there that would then just feed the information directly into the CRM.
That's it.
If that starts happening, then it's so much easier to manage the database as
Exactly.
you go. You meet
Yeah.
people and you can just feed it into the system.
That's it. That's what we're going for.
Wow, that would be really exciting. I can
Yeah.
just, you can automate email notifications after
That's
that. You
it.
can
That's it.
automate SMSs. Like, that's just, the world just opens up.
I'm sharing the right idea with the right person. I can tell already.
Yes.
So you can I can see your brain already going, wow,
It's
this
just,
universe just explodes, right? So it's and
exactly.
that's what we want to do. It's for us, it was about getting the digital business card right at its core, because
Yeah,
we could see in the future here these are going to be those opportunities,
yeah,
and now that we've got that core right, now it's going, okay, well, let's pull that future to us and let's go
yes.
for it.
Yeah, so you've got the foundations, correct? Now
Yeah,
you're just expanding on those foundations.
totally, exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. If
Thank you,
somebody
Tina.
wanted to find you, how would they do
Don't look for me on LinkedIn.
it?
I'm kidding, of course, of course. So, the best spot, come and find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I'll be more than happy to connect, have a conversation with you physically if we're close enough together. I'm always up for a coffee, as I'm sure a few people have seen. My coffee is
nice.
never too far from me. So, first coffee is always on me. I'll always buy the first coffee. Yeah, so come and find me there. Otherwise, yeah, go check out modc.com.au for our digital business cards, Wave CRM as well. So if you're a member-based organisation, trade association, anything like that, we'd be delighted to help you with CRM.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nathan. Nathan
Thank you,
Schokker,
Tina.
everyone. All right. I hope to have you on the podcast again once you have reached your 50 million mark, your 100,000, sorry, your 100 million mark, 150 million mark. We'll have you back for sure if you have, a little bit of time for us.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
Perfect. Thank you so much.